The team was presented with the task of designing a robot capable of accomplishing several tasks on the track shown. This track consists of 4 zones where each team will be required to launch their robot from the home zone. After a successful launch, teams will need to clear 3 rocks from the area surrounding the lunar module, known as the Sea of Tranquility. In addition, teams will need to avoid the lunar module or face point deduction. In the center of the track is a metal dome referred to as the lunar ridge, with 4 zones, each corresponding to a team's color. The objective is to place 1 of 3 sensor decoys in each of the opponent's zones. The final task is to place the flag on the center of the lunar ridge. Additional points will be awarded if all parts of the robot are removed from the vertical area of the lunar ridge. The point system for the competition is shown here. A successful launch is worth 10 points, while clearing each rock is worth up to 10 points, and avoiding the lunar module is worth 30. Placing each sensor decoy in an opponent's zone is worth 14. Lastly, placing the flag is worth up to 44 points, while removing all parts from the vertical area of the lunar ridge will double the points for the flag placement. The robot pictured here includes methods for accomplishing the tasks at hand. To ensure a successful launch, the My Reel will be activated when the banana plugs are shortened by the track. In order to launch successfully, the robot must fit into a go-no-go gauge. The robot is powered by a DC motor connected to large rubber wheels, which propels it forward to contact the lunar ridge. On its journey to the lunar ridge, 2 front mousetraps will clear the side rocks by direct impact, while a rear mousetrap will be activated by a pneumatic actuator after a time delay. The force generated by the spring and the mousetraps provides sufficient force to overcome the weight and frictional forces of the rocks. To prevent the lunar module from being contacted, the front axle has sufficient ground clearance due to the use of large tires. Alignment of the robot on the starting zone is vital to avoid hitting the lunar module. An alignment tool was built to serve this purpose. To properly dispense sensor decoys, the switch must be placed in the correct slot to be activated by the beacon corresponding to the team's home zone. The lunar ridge spins at approximately 5 to 7 revolutions per minute. When the switch is depressed, a time delay will activate each solenoid in a pneumatic actuator in series 2.5 seconds apart. This allows all 3 sensor decoys to be placed in the correct lunar ridge. When the last sensor decoy is released, the flag mechanism is activated. A specially designed motor coupler enables a lever arm to spin in unison with the motor. At the end of the lever arm, foam with a slit in it is attached to hold the flag. The lever arm and foam has been aligned to place the flag at the center of the dome and retract back to its starting position. Since the flag placing system is coupled with the sensor decoy deployment system, if the switch is not activated by the beacon, the sensor decoy and flag placing system will not run. To counteract this problem, a failsafe was incorporated in the code to activate both the sensor decoy and flag placing system after 30 seconds from activation of the robot. However, with this failsafe, there is no guarantee the sensor decoys will be placed in the appropriate lunar ridge. Rover 1derer underwent several design iterations before reaching its final version. The first iteration did not have front mousetraps, instead relied on momentum from the robot to push the rocks to the edges. It also used a solenoid to activate the back mousetrap. For deploying the sensor decoys, a single solenoid was used. In the next iteration, the back solenoid was replaced with a pneumatic actuator because it was not reliable in activating the rear mousetrap. Using momentum alone did not guarantee removal of the side rocks and posed the issue of not reaching the lunar ridge, as the rocks would impede the robot's motion. These iterations presented issues which the final version addressed. When Rover 1derer contacts the lunar ridge, the impact misaligns and rolls the robot back. To solve this issue, foam was fitted to the front to act as a bumper and absorb the energy of the impact. This allows the robot to maintain its preset alignment from the starting zone. The sensor decoy system proved to be unreliable, as more than one sensor decoy could be released at a time, while at other instances they would stick together, preventing deployment. To counteract this issue, a foolproof method, which uses 2 solenoids and a pneumatic actuator, was used to release the sensor decoys. This allowed for each of the 3 decoys to be released independently. During the final competition, the robot did not perform as well as the team had hoped based on previous trials. First, the flag failed to be placed on 2 occasions. The initial failed attempt was a result of the flag falling out of the flag holder. The second failed attempt was a result of the dome being occupied by the other team's flags, preventing Rover 1derer's flag from being placed. In addition, the rear rock was not removed. 2 possible causes are misalignment of the robot and the rock falling down the ramp from the starting zone. The last issue encountered was the switch not being depressed and relying on the failsafe to dispense the sensor decoys and place the flag. As with the rear mousetrap issue, this may have been caused by the misalignment. At the end of it all, Rover 1derer placed 3rd in the final competition.